Welcome back. Remember the last video when we invited my assistant and she couldn't gain access to a couple of modules that I could gain access to. So in this video, we'll be looking at how to give those access using the App Store. And that starts from coming, this is my account, Okemiko. And if I come down to the App Store here under Manage Organization and I click on that, it brings me to this page, the App Store page, as I said earlier. And let's just give it a try. Let's say I want to give my assistant access to all of our customers in the application. I could just come here and type customers. And when I click on that, this is where the configurations happen. All right. There are a couple of permissions that each role can have. And for the super admin, I can access the feature, and not only can I access the feature, I can also carry out some additional functionalities. So it means I can create, I can update, I can delete. And this works in this way such that I can give you access to creating customers, which means adding customers, but you don't have access to deleting customers. And this, a lot of businesses use it automatically for transactions where the sales people or agents have the power or the permission rather to be able to add a new customer or you add a new transaction, but you are unable to delete a transaction. You need a superior to be able to come and do all of that. So this is where you do all of those configurations. And in the case of a customer, these are for admin and staff. These are things that we've added out of the box for you in 390 just to be able to see. You can see for staff, you cannot delete a customer. And you can view all customers, right? But you cannot view the customer's analytics. So these are some of the things that we have put in place for you. But in your case, you can decide to give your new people any kinds of information. So remember now we created executive assistant and digital marketer. So executive assistant, I could give access to access customers' features, maybe to add, maybe to update, possibly not to delete, and to view all customers, yes, and to view analytics, yes, in case I need them to do reporting, to manage customer settings and addresses. So in this case, it means I can add or remove addresses. I can add some labels and statuses, and I can add their contacts and all of that. Maybe I can still trust my assistants with these things, but not to delete. And for my digital marketer, I do not want them to have access to the customer's features at all, or feature rather at all. Maybe for leads, maybe for them to curate and add leads there. Yes, yes, definitely, but not to access the customer's features or feature rather in this case. All right, so once I'm done, I just hit the save button and that's all I need to do. And that information will be updated. So it has been updated and that's all for customers. And if I then switch to the other accounts, and I reload this page for my assistant, they should now have access to CRM on the side, right? So now there's CRM here, and they now have access to the customers in CRM because we granted them access. So if I click on customers now, they can see add customer and all of that. If I didn't give them the access to add, they won't see add, they will just see list of customers and all of that. I'll still show how customers work, the difference between mine and all and analytics and all of that, but we'll touch on those in the customer section. So let's just quickly play around one more module. So let's go to budgets. Let's look for budgets here. And the way budgets works is different from, there are two different types of module permissions in 390. There is a feature-based module and there is a stricter, will I say, access based. And what that means is for budgets, for example, I don't want you to have access to all of the budgets just because you have access to the budgets module. You shouldn't have access to all of the budgets because some budgets might be for marketing, some might be for projects, some might be for building, some might be for different departments. So because there's just one budget feature doesn't mean everybody in the organization should have access and can see everybody's budget. So these kinds of features are different because it's not shared across the organization. These things are even more classified. All right. So the only thing I can do here is to give access to the budgets feature for my assistant. And in the case of my digital marketer as well, I can decide to give them access in case there's a marketing budget that needs to be created and updated along the line. And I can do that as well for all of my staff if I want everybody to have access to budgets, or I might still disable it, except there are people that actually do need budgets. And we also set it down here that each of the budgets created will require additional access control. That is, people will only get access to what is shared with them. This is just to make sure that people do not see what they don't have to see. This is the central point where your business is running. And it would be irresponsible of us to just make sure that everybody will gain access to everything out of the box. So on 398, it's not that way. You give access to things you want people to see. All right, and I'll save that. Upon doing that, that is updated. And if I come here and I reload my page for the assistant, we should see that inclusion in the finance module here. Then budget is underneath. All right, so we have that there as well. So these are the two things we just added. And increasingly along the line, you could just keep adding more and more and more features for any other parts of your people. And for you as well, if there's something that you need that is not here, let's say for the CRM, let's say we need suppliers. So the suppliers, just be careful. There are supplies and there are suppliers, two different things. So let's click on suppliers. I want to be able to access and work around with this as like to do everything because I'm a super admin, right? And for my assistants, I want them to be able to access it, maybe not to create, maybe not to update, but they can maybe view all, and that's all I want them to see. And marketer, nope. And I could just save that. Once I do that, I can now on my CRM see suppliers even for myself now on the sidebar, where I could now decide to add a supplier when need be. All right. So this wraps up how you can handle the role-based access control, whereby you give people access to what they need to see and even on the granular level in 390 work. Thank you.